Inspire.
Omwami waffe owa Spark TV nyongera okujjukiza nti omwaka gunaatera okuggwako. Simanyi bye wapulaninga oba obituusizza wakati, abamu baakabitandikako. Omanyi tukola lisiti nnyo, lisiti mpanvu nnyo, resolutions biki. At the end of the year nosanga tolina kyokozeeko n'ekimu. But it's not too late. It's not late. You can still catch up. Obanga obadde wanafuwamu ekaseera osikiriza that omwaka nga gutandika toddamu kukola pulaani zezimu ze wakola last year. Naye nga program ya Inspire gy'olaba baniriza nate nze Shira Nakayemba tubeerayo buli Lwasande saa 12:30 ez'akawungeezi wano ku Spark TV ate ng'oba ogisubiddwa osobola okugiraba ku Lwokusatu essaawa emu ez'akawungeezi. Bw'oba tosobodde ku YouTube tubeerayo ne ku Facebook page ya Spark TV. We always stream live, so if you have missed anything, osobola okuddayo okubeera bwe baleetedde omugenyi waffe owa last week bw'oba nga tewalaba story ye okuva we yatandikira osobola okugenda, then you can catch up n'olaba nga tugenda mu kitundu kyaffe ekyokubiri. Naye nga aba Dynasty Lounge ne banzikiriza okolera mu kifo kyabwe. It's a very beautiful place. Can you imagine? It's a free venue for any party. If you have a wedding, if you have a birthday party, the venue is free. So awasigadde muba mujja kwogera ebirala naye nga the venue is free. How can you do that? So poziko anyambaza ye Joanita waliku evidence
I'm well. I've been well. How are you? It's been a while indeed.
So how is work? How is everything you're doing?
Work is great. Really, really great. I am grateful.
You're not complaining.
I am not. I am just giving thanks. Yes.
Yeah, so kindly ogenda kubeera ng'odda mutwe yanjulira Diana yani so that we can continue from where I was.
Our dear listeners, I believe we are all okay. My name is Diana Muhairwe. I am a marriage counselor. I'm a personal growth and leadership development coach. That is what I do for a living. I am so honored to be here once again. Thank you, Sheila, for inviting me, for giving me this opportunity to share with fellow ladies on this journey of growth, this journey of discovering our purpose, this journey of dealing with life. I'm so honored to be here. I'm married. I'm blessed with 3 babies. Yeah.
So, why did we stop last week? Last week, wali otubuuliza engeri gye wajjamu okubeera nga weezuula. Really out of the situation. I named it discovering your purpose out of the storm.
Yes.
After everything that happened.
Yes.
I think this is what I want to do.
Okay. So after last week I told you how I'd lost a number of close people to me, and it took me 2 years in the valley of depression. And in those 2 years, I was still stuck asking God, why did you do this? Why did you take my babies? Why did you take my parents? Why did you take my granny? Why did you take the people that are so close to me that benali ntadeko amaaso? In the same period. It was not even a full year. It was less than a year. And why did you allow me to remain alive? I'd gone through a very dangerous operation that took very long. At some point, the doctors were telling me they couldn't like track my heartbeat. So I was like, why did you leave me alive? And in that period, because you remember you were telling me, because I was so fixed on that, nali sisobola kuwulira eddoboozi lya Katonda. Naye bwe nakakana nengamba kati kino sikyasobola nze ng'omuntu, I cannot handle it. Nenzikakana pressure, nensala pressure, nengamba kati Mukama ndi wano.
Did you get some counseling?
I didn't get counseling because I was also so afraid of being judged. I had been judged, I had been rejected through that time. I had been called very many names, especially by some in-laws, some relatives, some people had said I was cursed because of the challenges I was going through. I'd brought a curse to my husband. So I kept hearing so much of what people were talking about, and I felt judged, and indeed I felt like a curse. I felt I was not blessed at all. So my thoughts kept fixed on what people were saying about me, and I took it to be the honest truth. So it made me remain stuck. So even in that, when I got my eyes off the situation, when I was complaining to God, now in that journey I remained fixed on what people were saying. So even the people that I thought I would get help from, I feared that they bandeba abamukwabo who are judging me. I never thought of seeking for professional help, and majorly, because of fear of being judged. I thought maybe even the counselors would judge me, but also, we took a long time in hospitals. We were financially handicapped. So you cannot be struggling to get a meal and you're thinking of today, I would rather go seek for help instead of getting a meal, because I know how much help is helpful.
So when do you get help?
When do I get help?
And how?
David in Psalm 121 says, I lift my eyes over the mountains. Where does my help come from? My help comes from you, Lord, the creator of heaven and earth. In there, I got the first help from God. So I got a trip. I got a trip, and I was away to Dar es Salaam, and I was away from home. And that time my husband was studying there, and so he invited me over. It was a time for me to do more or less like personal reflection. I was away from this environment where I was feeling so judged. When he would go for class, I would stay alone. And all I did was to play gospel music. And those songs ministered to me. So as they ministered to me, somehow I'd find myself reconnecting with my Creator. And now I started crying. And I'm like, Lord, it has taken me this long. I need your help. And when I got into that position, I think God was there. He was always waiting for me.
Sorry, he's waiting for you to ask.
That's true. He was waiting for me, and he started speaking to me through dreams. My thoughts changed, and he brought to me back the dreams that I used to have when I was young. So when I was little, I used to have dreams when I would be holding very many people. I would be holding their hands, and we are walking on a long journey.
You are still remembering those dreams?
Not really.
You know, when something comes, though you cannot tell, you cannot remember everything, but sometimes you get a dream and you're like, but I've been in this place before.
Exactly. So that is what was happening to me. Like they were so familiar. And when I was in secondary, our chaplain told us that whatever we see when we are sleeping, we write down. So during that time, when I came back, I went home and searched in my things when I was still little, and I found that notebook. And the dreams were exact, so exact. So that time I started saying, why is it that I have been having these consistent dreams? And so as I was reading the story of Joseph, I saw the dreams that God had given him when he was little. And it occurred to me that this is speaking into my future, much as it may not be clear now. So I go on with life, and it took me a lot of prayer. I got very many friends to pray with us as a family, and very many things got revealed, and we got delivered, and that's how I got my healing. So in there, I got a number of revelations. I got to know that God was actually calling me to go and help people. Several times I saw myself putting on golden shoes, putting on purple shoes, and on more or less like a platform, and I'm talking to very many people, but I never understood. So the few people that I shared with told me, for you, automatically you have to be a pastor. But I never felt it. I never felt it. I felt it was something different. So during that time, that's when we volunteered. Last session I told you how my husband and I volunteered in 2015 to start doing premarital counseling at church. So that's when we volunteered.
So going back, for this to happen, you have to heal first.
Yes.
Some people, when they're still going through challenges, they feel like, I have experience.
No.
Let me do this. You have to heal first, and then help others.
Yes, yes. Because you're only able to give what you have. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth will always speak. When we are preparing people for marriage, we meet people, very many people with different issues. Very many different issues. So if you are hurting, you at some point are going to give that heart to these people. And it was very important for us to heal before we get into the ministry. But you may not, I will tell you that, Sheila, you cannot say that I have totally healed from this pain, but the reaction is how you tell the healing. To this date, I miss my parents so much that there are times I am like, I wish Mommy was alive. When I told you I'd traveled home, and my siblings and I went, remembering Daddy's jokes, and I felt I missed Daddy. But the reaction of his absence was now different. I never felt alone. I never felt depressed. I felt that, yes, I celebrate the time, the years I was with him, and we found ourselves laughing and laughing and laughing. So it's not that because there are moments that are going to come in your life, and you're going to feel you miss this person. The ladies that I was expecting with, when I look at their babies, now growing up, every time we're celebrating birthdays, I remember my babies would now be this big. But now I do not get into mourning, I don't get into depression. I'm like, I am grateful that I also got this opportunity, but also how my story has changed lives. The ladies, the couples that we get to share with our story, how difficult it was, and seeing them regain hope.
So after that process of healing, you sat down with your husband and you're like, let's do this, or it just happened? You know God opens doors in a way you cannot even imagine.
It just happened. previously, they had been calling for people to come and volunteer, and it was not something that caught our attention. But this time round, we went for marriage fellowship, and they called forth for people who wanted to volunteer. And my husband said, I think it's something we can do. I'm like, yeah, why not? You see, for something that God wants you to do, there's not always, you cannot get, no one is going to pressurize you. The gifts that God has given you, you'll find yourself doing it naturally. It's a natural flow. Like probably you being here and you know, saying the way you get people to interview, it's something that
It always happens. Just like
you connect with someone. I think Diana, we use something that just naturally flows. No one is going to push you to probably begin writing if you're interested in writing.
Well, wow. We are going to go into for a short break, but when we come back, we are going to look at how you can also discover church kyakuganya okubeera nga weezuula agenda kubeera nga abitunuulira mulemu.
Inspire.
Wewa omulabi waffe wa Spark TV tukyagenda maaso n'emboozi ya Diana Muhairwe. Is that the right pronunciation?
Yes,
Muhairwe.
it is.
Wewa ankozeko makeup ye Jamie wali ku Jamie Glam osobola omusanga ku TikTok Jamie Glam ya. Ate anyambaza ye Joanita wali ku Clarets Boutique osobola omukubira ku 0772 330591 yangambye yaguddewo ne branch e Kawempe ayina e Kamocha ne mu town so osobola okubeera ng'omutuukirira ayina engoye nnyingi aba Dynasty be banzikiriza okukolera mu kafo kaabwe saagala tumale budde straight into how do I kati nganze sometimes I believe ebiseera ebimu we discover our purposes out of the storm, but I feel like not everyone has to first go through this. If you discover it nga bukyali kikuyamba nnyo. Olowooza biki ebituziyiza okubeera nga twezuula nga bukyali?
There are a number of things. One, when I was young, every time my parents would be paying fees, sending me to school, they would tell me, we want you to study. And by God's grace, I was performing so well. So we want you to study so that you get a very good job and you be an important person in this country. So my mind was always focused on studying and I get a job. So that is one of the things that nga bituziba amaaso. You're like, all you're doing, I am studying to get a job. And I believe very many Ugandans and non-Ugandans actually, most of them are not doing what they studied at college or university or even in school. Very many people. And even many successful people have not even necessarily gone to school. They have found their gift and they are pursuing that. So that is one thing. Two is fear. You love to do something, but you fear, you really fear that people are going to judge me. You think about, what if I am not successful? So you fail to discover simply because you are scared. And also too, you look at circumstances. Most people tend to look at money and like, this thing doesn't give money. Like, who has done it before? No one has done it before. Or ignorance. You don't know that there are people that, for example, are coaches and are making money. You do not know. Or probably you've grown up in an environment where you've done, where you've seen TV hosts and you think they can actually make money. You know, an area that you would be interested in. It's in the recent past that we know here that you can be a successful footballer, for example. But previously, how do you make money? Through music. How do you make money? Through playing football. Those are things that our parents who had, our peasant parents who had earned, who would pay for you school fees. If you told them, I'm just going to be a musician, I'm going to be a writer, I'm going to be a cameraman, that would tell you, over my dead body, I pay a lot of money. So all they had were the common professions, yeah? So culture, exposure, fear, all those things. Career and purpose, how are they connected? Your purpose is always going to utilize your greatest strength. Your greatest strength. You can do any career. Anything, you can do any career. But not anything can be your purpose. You see, again, I will tell you that I'm a person of faith. When you read Jeremiah 1:5, that scripture says, before I formed you in your mother's womb, I knew you. And I predestined you to be a prophet unto the nations. That word prophet talks about your purpose. So everything that you needed to excel, to do your purpose on earth, was given to you before birth. You came into this world with it. So those are the things that you excel at or excel in, I think excel in, even before you go to school. So for career, you go to school to get trained. But for purpose, it is as a result of a natural gifting. You identify the natural gifting and then you can shape it, you skill it. If you don't skill it, it can easily die away.
Because my friend was telling me, okay, people see me as a difficult person, but it's funny, I always find myself giving advice to people. It's so easy for particular people to come and then before you know it, they are sharing their problems with me. Yet others perceive me as a difficult person, but there are people that really come and before you know it, they are explaining everything to you.
Yes, and you see that magnet is the divine. Purpose is attached to the divine. It is God that gives us the purpose. Do not be deceived that any man can give you your purpose.
It cannot be taught.
It can't be taught. Even when I am taking people through...
But you can be guided.
You can be guided, yes. Even when I am taking people through purpose discovery courses that I carry on, I ask them. And one of the questions I ask them is, what do you spend your time doing? In that even when you're doing it, you lose track of your time. Nga wesanze watandise sawa nga 2, before you know it, it is 4 o'clock. And you cannot tell how time has gone. It just flows. The moment you start on this thing, you lose track of time. It is you to tell me. You see, what I'm giving you is a question that is helping you to look inside you, to dig deep within you, and you give me those options. And the next question I will probably ask you, what activities in your life do you spend money to participate in? You value those activities. When you go through social media, for example, when you go to YouTube, it's not that every video is going to catch your attention. It's not that every post is going to catch your attention. Naye bobo yitamu waliwo things that are almost the same that capture your eye. What are those things? Those things mean a lot to you as an individual. Ochiraba, still it comes from within you. I'm just giving you a question. Hey, I think I love to listen to motivational speeches.
Meaning, if you're to discover your purpose, you have to be observant.
Observant. Observant.
If you're not, you're going to be distracted.
Yes.
We're so distracted. Wayagala okutambula na buli omu, wayagala kakubidde waayo, all over the place.
Yes, yes. You need to be observant. You cannot discover your purpose if you don't know you. So, as a matter of fact, you must first discover yourself. Otegeere nti biki ebinyiiza, for example, because those are the things that you're probably created to solve.
Yeah.
What things make me sing? What things, when you engaged in an activity, what those things that make you very happy, excited, and you feel your heart is even beating faster. Some people, when they get into music, life comes out. Or when they see babies, life springs out. Waliwo omuntu woweereza omwana n'olabira ddala ono ye ddala omwana wange mumugyeko. But there is another person, they are so creative around babies. Those are all indicators to something that you love. And then you will also have talked about things that make your heart dance, things that make you sad, but there are also things that areas in your life where you fear judgment. You can, like these gentlemen that are helping us capture this video. You love taking pictures, you love getting videos, but again you're scared to share them. Simply because you're scared, people will think it's not the best quality. People will think I didn't take it at the right angle. All those fears. Or artists, maybe people are going to think it's not the best, design out there. That should show you that that thing you are scared of to expose has a big value to you because you fear to be judged in that. So those are all indications. So those are just some of the questions. And I've talked about you knowing you in a number of areas. I'll just share, I think, about 7 areas. One is the musical area. How do you feel around music? And any music. I have one of my closest friends, ye kasita awulira ekidongo. They start moving. Even if they are presenting before a very VIPs, ye otandika owulira nga yena atambula alibati nasoka napozinga. Man, you're presenting, this is not, but you see the body moving. Do you feel like that around music? When you hear a song, how does it move your heart? There are people who are unmoved by music, but there are those that are really moved by music. How do you feel around music? So the musical talents, again, we look at the story of David when King Saul would be tormented by the bad spirit. David would just come and play his harp. And the Bible guides us and says whenever David played his music, the bad spirit would leave King Saul. Amazing. Not everyone is able to play and their music delivers someone. Not everyone is able to sing and their music touches a heart. But there are those that have natural, and you see that thing, you can't go to school to earn it.
Yeah.
You can train the vocals, but you cannot have the anointing. The anointing is the divine that we are talking about. So there are also movement, giftings, and these come in line with exercises. People who are very good at guiding people, maybe in the sports, yeah? You've heard about sports coaches, things like, when there is a match, they are able to tell everything. They go to watch a match and they can tell everything, they can analyze. A young boy, a young girl, there's something that should tell you something about that. Yeah? So you'll find fitness coaches in there, fitness helpers in there, movement, gymnastics, dances. People are naturally gifted to teach people to dance. So there's the other one is interpersonal, which talks about relationships. You are someone who is so interested in relationships, conversations. Like you are saying, you love to converse with people. You love to talk. Yeah, people with very many, very many words. Counseling, you'll find counseling there. You'll find coaching there. You find then intrapersonal. There you have an eye to get to listen to someone conversing, and you pick out what should be able to help them.
Yeah. So I think we are not going to finish them because time is not on our side.
Yeah.
But if I really want to discover my purpose, bantu chibenino kwekwatako, do I necessarily need to go to a coach or a counselor?
Again, Sheila, it's going to be difficult to identify going okwekwatako before you know you. You see, for me, I was able to get a coach to help me find clarity.
You had discovered.
I had discovered.
You needed clarity.
Now, what I wanted to know was, what kind of coach am I called to be? I already knew I was a people helper. I was supposed to be a coach. I love to teach. I love to train people. I loved to counsel people. I knew I was a coach. After going on Google, and some of this information is on Google, I went on Google and put in all the things I felt would easily flow to me. And I discovered one of those people was a coach. I loved to speak, yeah? So I looked at my skills that I had, and I said, these skills fit here. And maybe also my first undergraduate also helped me, because as a teacher, again, you're a guide, so I was able to also help myself somewhere.
You have to discover yourself personally, on a personal basis. You need some guidance.
You need guidance. Very, very true. I think it's Zig Ziglar maybe that said, if you want to go far, go with people. If you want to go fast, go alone. But in that journey of going alone, you'll make very many mistakes. Again, I will take you back to my story. You realize how I did very many things alone. But I believe that time when I felt the blackboard is not my place, if I had gotten a coach, they would have quickly directed me and I would be very, very, very far. So, like coaches, because like personal growth and development, really, it looks at you as a person. Find, where am I supposed to be? That's what they do. That's what we do. And when you come to me, one of the first steps I'll take you through is discover you. Who are you? What are you good at? What are your limitations? Yeah.
So Diana, last words to someone out there who's trying to discover the purpose, but they don't know where to start from. Some have discovered, they don't know how to go about it. Any last words?
Okay. So I'll tell you that And you might have heard this saying. I think the first person I heard it from is Miles Monroe, the late, that there are two important days in your life: the day you are born and the day you discover your purpose. Those are the happiest days in your life. I clearly remember when I discovered my purpose, I was the happiest. It was close to my birthday, and I told my family, this is the greatest birthday gift. And honestly, I was happy. I want to encourage you, do not get discouraged. Something divine is always going to be fought. Don't get discouraged. Keep going. Get in touch with me. Let's discover this. And allow yourself not to get to the grave with those debts, because you are accountable for the reason you were put on earth.
That accountability, but you will be shocked to reach in heaven and they tell you, by the way, you were supposed to do this and you had all the means but you didn't do it. So please always know that you're here, but you're here because of the purpose. If you don't actually utilize that purpose, you'll check out. Because the reason why you're here is because of your purpose.
Yes.
Other than that, you will die sad if you really don't discover your purpose. I read the program here, Diana Muhairwe because I really feel like I'm also happy after discovering my purpose. But still, I need clarity. I've actually learned from you that clarity is needed.
Very important.
I feel like I understand my purpose, but going about it and the route I'm supposed to take, I still think I'm struggling. But yeah, I know I'm going to be helped. Now that I know that I need clarity, it's like listening to the voice of God. Sometimes
yes.
You might be listening to someone else. So you need guidance.
And you see, that's why Prophet Samuel had to ask Prophet Eli for guidance.
Wow, to think had a wicked job. Baba Dynasty, we were talking about
Bye.
Inspire.